Hello and welcome to this week's Limitless Landscapers podcast. I am your host, Paula Warman, and today I'm talking about taking action, inspired action, self accountability, and making all the leaps in your business. So let's go to the show. As the co-founders of the Landscaper Circle, we help you get more money, time, and freedom to become limitless through our experiences as fellow landscapers and our tried and tested methods. If you want help with your marketing, managing, or growing your business, you've definitely come to the right place. If you're a landscaper, garden designer, or supplier to the industry, then hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get back to the show. Hello, and welcome to the show. How are you, everybody? I'm recording this the week following the APL Awards. I don't know if you went to the APL Awards at the brewery in London last Friday, but it was a fantastic event full of brilliant people, brilliant projects, a really inspiring event of the landscaping industry, really. And I went there as two guises, really, myself as TLC and also with my team from Aura Landscapes, because we had two projects entered into two award categories, of which we got a gold and a silver merit. So the team were really happy with that. And as TLC, I had the pleasure of interviewing the winners, and it was really good fun, actually. And I found like this was something that I absolutely really enjoy doing, even though it's out of my comfort zone, even though it's not something that I like to do on a regular basis. But as I've gone through as TLC, last year was the first year we did this. And thankfully, Phil invited us to do it again this year. And it was just really good fun. And it's quite nice because I actually get to congratulate the winners, meet the winners, and really see what they're doing in the landscaping industry. So it's a really cool gig to get, I suppose. And I really enjoyed it. And I caught up with some people that I met last year who had taken home some awards last year. So that was really cool. And also caught up with a lot of industry friends that I've known over the years, from manufacturers to other landscapers and TLC members. So it was a fantastic day. And today I wanted to talk about more sort of things about building your business. And we're all growing our landscaping businesses and we're all trying to achieve our goals. And I wanted to talk about how you can get to those goals quickly by using more inspired action, and sharing with you some inspired action I've taken myself recently. So I want to speak about attending these things. So first things first is you need to turn up to things. So for instance, some people wouldn't go to industry awards because they're not necessarily put a project in. However, the true value of these awards is not just putting the projects in, but it's also meeting new people, where potentially that could take on the form of work, it could take on the form of collaboration, and it really is a way to get re-inspired, because you get to see the quality of the projects within the industry and what people are creating and what kind of companies they're building. We also heard from Gavin. We heard from him, who was quite inspirational, quite interesting in the type of gardens he creates that have movable pieces and stuff. So that was a really interesting talk to listen to. And of course, it's a way to network in the industry. And what I wanted to really say from that is making sure you attend these opportunities. So thinking about what's going on this year, we have the landscape show, we have a new show called Grounds Fest, we have Futurescape later in the year. These are industry shows where you get to network, collaborate with people, meet new people, catch up with old friends, and it's very valuable. You also get re-inspired by new products on the market, new ways of doing things, celebrating people's successes, learning from their seminar programs. It's a really good way, but it's also meaning that you're taking an active role in the industry and you're keeping your knowledge up and you're maintaining those relationships. And I think that's really, really important. It's also important, I find, when I do group coaching sessions, not everyone turns up because they often have things going on, which I absolutely understand. We're in landscaping, things change on the turn of a coin. Many a time I've sat down to plan out a week with Mike, and unfortunately, the weather changes and suddenly he's either off if it's raining, or if it's sunny and blazing, he thought it was raining, he's on it, on the tools, trying to get the work finished. So I completely understand. I've been in the industry now 13 odd years. It's not a new thing, but it's quite important to schedule these meetings, because what I've noticed with members that attend the group coaching sessions and those that don't, or those that attend the one-to-one sessions I do, they tend to get more. So they tend to move forward in their businesses quicker, and they tend to take more inspired action, which is what I'm coming on to. Now, inspired action is pretty important, and I've recently taken some inspired action that I will share with you. From a perspective of action versus inspired action, inspired action is something you do because you feel a strong inner urge to do it. So you get the urge. I think we've all had this in our businesses, probably in our personal lives as well. You get a strong inner urge. It's also known as your gut feeling that you should do something. And it tends not to be the small actions that we take day in, day out in our businesses, but it's a big action that may result in a quantum leap in your business goals and achieving them and taking you forward to your dream. Now, it could be a gut feeling, it could be a creative idea that pops into your head, or it could just be a simple urge to change path or to continue on the path that you're going down, and knowing that that is what you're meant to do. And it's really important when you're thinking about inspired action, because this is the thing that will take you further and quicker to your goals, I suppose. And for me, a recent inspired action that's happening, it's in the process of changing, is I've decided to niche down further into what I love to do and what I do best. And that is working with landscapers in their businesses. And I just felt that TLC, as it is, as a membership site that's trying to help the whole horticultural industry and landscaping industry, just isn't working for me. And I got this real urge following a group coaching session last month, maybe the month before, that I needed to make a change. And it felt so right. It was kind of that gut feel. It was an idea that led to some creative inspiration. And I've decided to change the name of the business to the Landscapers Coach rather than the Landscapers Circle. And it's going to change its whole format. So I will be focusing more one-to-one coaching and mentoring landscapers. And that is what I want to do. And that is how I best find my time being spent. It's where I enjoy myself most. It will all become more clear over the next few weeks when the new website is launched, because following that inspired thought, and I took the inspired action of just getting it done. So I changed the name, I registered that's changed. I've begun to build my website. It's not quite finished, but I literally sat down, bashed out the new logo, and then created a new website, which will fully show what I'm trying to do and who I'm trying to help. So it has changed significantly, and you will see this change as I go forward. At the moment, TLC is still there as it is, but it will be going to change. And I will be making these steps clear to everybody as we go through. I've not put a huge time limit on it. It's just going to happen as it happens. As you know, I obviously have Aura Landscapes, which is going through huge changes at the moment, really positive changes actually, and new projects on the horizon with that, which I'll share in future podcasts. However, I am not going to rush changing TLC to the Landscapers Coach, but I will be announcing the new name, hence here. So that was kind of the inspired action I took, because I felt that I feel more connected to landscapers, because that's what I am. I am a landscaper's wife. I do run the landscaping business with my husband, and I have that experience and knowledge in running a business for the last 13, nearly 14 years, which in itself is a major achievement. And that led me to taking the inspired action, to just getting it done, to creating that logo, to setting up the website, to getting the email address, the domain name, doing all that because it felt so right. That is my path. I do believe that I'm taking the correct steps to move forward. So, how would you apply this to your life and business? And how would you take inspired action? So, my first shareable tip is to live in the moment. You need to be connected to yourself, your reasons why you're doing this, and most importantly, your goals and your dreams. You need to see what lights you up versus what brings you down. Where and what are you doing that makes you live and be in your most elevated state? So, your highest energy, where is your passion? What do you love? That will help you find your inspiration and therefore take inspired action. You need to silence those negative thoughts because as soon as I made that decision that I wanted to be the landscaper's coach, I suddenly had the negative voice in my head, which I watched Luca, the Disney movie, this weekend with the kids. And they say, the two lads in that, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's a tearjerker at the end, I feel. But anyway, as they are going through their lives, they basically have the negative voice in their head telling them they can't do things. And they say, we say to that voice, Silenzio Bruno. It's set in Italy. So they say Silenzio Bruno, Silenzio Bruno, Silenzio Bruno. And then they do the thing they want to do. So that was build a Vespa, ride down a hill, compete in a competition. So they just kept, every time they heard the negative voice, they would say Silenzio Bruno. And that is what you have to do, quite literally, when you are taking inspired action or taking any action that will bring up the fears and doubts around you. When I decided that changing TLC to the landscaper's coach, and yes, I'm well aware it's the same 3 letters, so I technically am still TLC, but in a different way. I had to silence the Bruno in my head because it was saying all sorts of negative things. You're not good enough to do that. What makes you so special? Why would you do this? What about the garden designers? What about the horticulturists? What are you going to do with them? Etc., etc. The negative voice was very, very loud because I was taking inspired action that I knew was the right thing for me, and it was going to make a massive difference to my life and my business, and most importantly, how I can help people in the best way. So yeah, I had to silence the Bruno in my head, and I'm urging you to silence the Bruno in your head, because I expect we all have these huge things we want to do, or maybe small things we want to do, but we're scared, and the fear crops up, and the negative voice in your head that's trying to protect you from failing is Bruno. So I'm saying just silence that negative thought in the head, because it's not of any use. It is just a thought that is trying to get you to not step outside of that comfort zone where we all know the magic happens. And it's trying to get you to suppress your actions based on the fear of you doing them and what might happen. And let me tell you something, what you think might happen probably definitely won't. But the third thing you need to do is listen to the intuition. So listen to that voice that's saying, go do this, or this feels good, or that gut feeling that this is the one, this is the idea that's going to take you to the next level, or this is the action you need to take you to the next level, or this is the first step outside your comfort zone and you need to do this in order to grow yourself. Listen to that intuition and then trust the process. Don't be impatient. I think impatient ruins any journey, because you think you should be further down the line than you are. You think you should have achieved X by now, and that will just lead to more negative voices dragging you down. So you need to trust the process, trust the journey that you are on. Then you need to look for signs. I look for signs all the time that I'm on the right path. So it could be that you're thinking about this inspired action, then you hear from a person that's directly linked to that, or and anything, you know what I'm talking about. It's almost serendipitous sometimes when things happen. You're like, how weird that then happened, or that was weird, I was thinking about that and this happened. So you look for those signs. It will just further provide proof to the fact that you are doing the right thing. And most importantly, the fifth element of this is don't let it pass you by, because How many times have you said to yourself in your business or your personal life, I wish I'd done that because X, Y, and Z? Or you've got a regret that you didn't try something. I have tried many things and failed, but I take it as a learning curve. And at least I can look back on my life and say, I tried this, it didn't work, and I tried something. But what would be more regrettable is the fact if you said, I wish I'd done this. I don't want to get to the end of my life and say, I wish I'd taken this action. I wish I'd done X, Y, and Z. I don't want that to happen. I would rather take a chance, move past the fear, and have a go. And then it might go right, it might go wrong. Who knows? But at least I've tried, and at least I've either learnt a lesson or made an astounding, resounding success of things. So, yeah, do not let the opportunities that pass you by when you come up with that inspired action, do not let it pass you by. And do not rest on your laurels, I suppose. You know, when you get that inspired action, take the action. When you get inspired to do something, do it, because otherwise you go to sleep on it and you won't do it the next day, or an excuse will come up because the fear will have got in and prevented you from doing that. And let's not forget, this is all about developing your mindset to enable you to be able to be more connected, more present, and more inspired. And it's also about taking huge leaps in your personal development and also your business. So we need to take inspired action to make those huge leaps, because inspired action is essentially stepping outside of that comfort zone, feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and making massive leaps in your business and in your personal life. It doesn't always have to go back to business. You know, it could be anything that you want to achieve in your personal and your professional lives. So that was all I was coming on to tell you about today. I hope you find it interesting. On the awards front, if you are, you know, thinking about entering awards and you're worried because it's scary and hard, please be aware that it's not. And please don't look at projects and think, oh, they're rubbish, etc. Put them in. If you have that inspiration that they look great and the workmanship is on point and they're beautiful and your client loves them and you feel that you could enter them for an award, swallow the fear and do it anyway, because it's so worth it. And just to be present at award ceremonies like the APL, I'm off to the Marshalls Regional Awards tonight in my area, and it's just inspiring and it really motivating. So it might just help you get re-inspired, re-motivated, and really connect you to some more inspired action going forward. So I touched on it. I am now the landscapers coach officially. I will be in the process of changing all of the social profiles, website. The list is endless as we go forward. If you've got any questions on that, or if you want to work with me, then do get in touch. All links are in the show notes. And yeah, I will be telling you more about that and something else next week on the next episode of the Limitless Landscapers podcast. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you soon.